welcome to welcome to the Sankofa Experiences by Urban Intellectuals. We're talking about Black history travel made easy. Y'all stumbled in on a little conversation. Our CTO, right? Jay's our Chief Travel Officer, and I was having. We're speaking about doing a little secret side trip, so you might have heard a little but it's going to be a good experience and one that we promise we're going to bring to you in the future as well. So, all right, let's just warm up the conversation and kind of give a couple of folks to treat us a moment to drag in here. I know we had a little tech issues, so I just want to make sure that everything is fine. Give me a yes in the comments if you can hear me and see me okay. I just want to make sure that stuff is going on. Okay, all right, Ashley, thank you for that. All right, we got some yeses. Yes, all right, so we are good. All right, man, let's get into it. We're gonna talk today about going to South Africa. First of all, let me know who is in the crowd. Where are you watching from? I myself, I'm in outside of Chicago, Illinois. I'm in Homewood, south suburbs. If you're in this particular area, Brother Jay, who I'll bring on in a moment, is in Brazil, right? Jay, I believe you said you're in, where are you at?
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio
That's
de
right.
Janeiro right now. So he's going to come in a moment. I'll make sure I invite him into this conversation. We got Texas in the building. As usual, Detroit. All right. The D is in the house. Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas is in here. And Ashley, where are you in the world? Are you in Virginia, West Virginia? Just trying to think now. Now I forgot that quick. All right, New York. You're in New York. All right. Okay. I had that totally wrong. But yeah, welcome to the discussion. Hey, let me know who has been to Africa. Give me a 1 in the comments if you've been to Africa before. Give me a 0 in the comments if you've never been. And if you've been, you got a 1. Let me know where you've been also. I see Jessica and Sarah has been. All right. Yeah, I'm wondering where have you been? Got a couple of zeros. Jewel, hey, how you doing? Egypt and Ghana. All right, looking forward at that third one as we talk about South Africa tonight. All right, I love that. Southern Africa, Ghana. Okay, love that. Okay, okay. Some wonderful places and some good food, right? Definitely some good food on the continent. Brother Jay just made a big statement to me about Brazil. I'm gonna hold him to that, and we're definitely gonna find out about that. South Africa, Egypt. All right, looking to go back. I love it. I love it. Okay. Hey, this is a good question. I asked this question on social media, and I'm wondering what's the biggest for those of you that's been to the continent? So I pose 2 questions. So if you've been to the continent before, what's the biggest lesson that you learned going traveling to the continent? What's the biggest lesson going to Africa that you learned? Then if you've never been, answer this question: why do you want to go? Kind of what's your driving force behind wanting to go to the continent? I know for myself and Brother Jay, when I bring you in, good brother, I think I would be good to kind of hear a little bit of your origin. Yes, we were black, but different. Okay, that we were black but different. All right, Ashley says, yeah, we were black but we are different. Yes, still so much to learn. I'm inspired by Nelson Mandela and the Hosa culture. Oh, okay. All right. Ashley, that's dope. All right. Brother Jay, I know you get excited about that. I love that. And if you haven't been, I'm wondering what's kind of your driving force behind going. U.S. time does not translate. Don't think hurry, think patience. Yeah, Jessica, that you nailed that one, right? I know we're always talking about pack your patience when you go to the motherland. Yeah. It's kind of like if you've never been before, you know how the Caribbean time is different. Where African time is even more different, right? I was gonna say different but that don't make sense, right? It's even more different there. Right now, it's a place on the map that represents where my people are from, but it's still a bit unreal to me. Ooh, Jewel, that was a real conversation there. And I feel that it's just a bit unreal right now, but I can promise you it's a real place. There's some fabulous people there. There's some beautiful culture. There's a lot of history, and there's some wonderful food. We just got back from Senegal a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I can't even really keep up. Senegal and the Gambia on our Sankofa experiences. And I can tell you, sister, it is real and it is beautiful. And I think that Senegal has the best food on the continent, probably in the world. It's probably the best travel experience for food that I've had. I don't know, Brother Jay has already put up a contention in that, but South Africa has a wonderful set of food and culture and history of its own, and that's what we're going to talk about a bit about today, and that's what we're going to explore, right? How let me see. How do I ask this question? How do y'all feel about a long flight, right? I don't think there's no way to get around a pretty long travel experience to get to South Africa. Wavy Bay, Port Elizabeth, Durban. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, sir. You ready? These are places that you've been, or these are places that inspired you. How do y'all deal with long flights? Um, I've grown accustomed to them. Yeah, I don't mind the long flight. I love how Brother Jay talks about remembering what's on the other side. Sure, it's a longer flight, but you want to really remember why you're getting on the plane, what you're traveling for, and the experience that you are about to have. 18 hours, no problem. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, I don't even really think about it, right? Oh, forgot 22 hours. Yeah, it just kind of depends on your flight pattern. But you know, a couple of movies, a couple of naps, a couple of meals, a couple of beverages, and you know, you're there, right? Get a little work done, get a lot of rest. You can catch up on some rest. So I really don't find too much of a problem. They upgraded me to first class on my way back, so now my travel experience is completely ruined because I want to fly first class every time now. I got a different budget though. The way my budget's set up, I got a check-ins and a savings, and but I'm definitely going to try to work these airline miles and point systems. I'm going to have to take a class or something. I got to figure out how I can regularly travel first class without the pay. I keep seeing people talk about that, but my goodness, that was definitely a different experience. Even though I'm okay with economy, right? I'm definitely fine. I'm only 5'8", right? I'm not very tall. So I don't really have problems with the spaces. And I've yet to fly internationally on a plane that was absolutely packed. So it's 9 times out of 10, there's not people to the right and left of me. I don't go to the show, get to catch up on movies. Yeah, you get to catch up on all the movies and the beverages and, you know, the naps and the sleep. So it's always a good time. So, all right, let me go ahead and kick off our presentation so we can get into the details so that we can get all of your questions answered. Of course, we're talking about going to South Africa today. And I'm just bringing this up. I learned about the presenter's view. I'm over here different now. I know what I'm doing. Finally. Oh, wait a minute. I got a little too cocky. I got a little too cocky about knowing what I'm doing over here talking. There we go. All right, so let me kick this off. And if you have any questions, we're going to have a Q&A in here, but you can ask your questions and we'll be grabbing the questions and following up with them a little bit later to make sure that we get them answered. So anytime you can just drop your questions in there, but we'll have an official Q&A at the end. But I want to welcome you to the Sankofa Experiences by Urban Intellectuals. Again, we're talking about Black history travel made easy. So let me give you a little bit of a quick overview. Greetings, I'm Freddie Taylor, CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, and we are behind the Sankofa Experiences. This is where Black history travel made easy is not just our mantra, it's a promise. Our mission? to reconnect you with your roots, your culture, and the history of the African diaspora, now spanning across 10 African nations and the vibrant cultures of Colombia and Brazil. The Sankofa Experiences is expanding. We've crafted curated group travel experiences that do more than just visit. They immerse, they educate, they transform. From the historic forts of Ghana to the bustling markets of Nigeria, the serene beaches of the Gambia to the rugged mountains of Morocco, and beyond, even South Africa and South America, each destination holds a special place and part of our story. Embarking on these Sankofa journeys means more than just exploring more landscapes. It means walking in the footsteps of the ancestors, embracing the diversity of our heritage, and seeing the world through a lens of understanding and appreciation. It's a group experience where every traveler is a thread in the fabric of the shared narrative, making the journey safe, engaging, and unforgettable. So are you ready to embark on this adventure? To explore, to learn, to celebrate the legacy that connects us all. Join us in the Sankofa Experiences, proudly powered by urban intellectuals. The only thing missing is you. Yes, the only thing missing is you. Greetings, I'm Freddie Taylor, CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, and we are behind this opportunity to join us, right? But before we get there, let me go through the formalities. My name's Freddie Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals. This is what we do, Black History Travel Made Easy, but we started with flashcards, right? We started with our world famous Black History flashcards. We've been seeing in Target, Essence, NPR, News One, Fox sold over 500,000 of these sold in all 50 states and internationally, but we have much more than just the flashcards. We actually have 18 physical products that's centered around Black history and culture. We have the #1 Black History Club for children. We call it the Sankofa Club. It's over 250 classes, 500 students. It's available 24/7. We teach live Black history classes to children twice a week, and they have access to games and activities inside of the Sankofa Club. If you think about Highlights Magazine, I asked this question earlier, how many people are familiar with Highlights Magazine? I know that might take you back. But I grew up on Highlights Magazine, and I always wondered, why wasn't there a culturally relevant version of this? And that's what we provide inside of the Sankofa Club. So in addition to the live classes, the Black history, there's games and activities similar to Highlights Magazine, but it's culturally relevant, talking about our history and our culture. But that's the Sankofa Club. We just introduced, yes, I had it for my daughter. I love it, Sarah. Yeah, I love Highlights Magazine. I thought it was an awesome creation. But yeah, we just needed a culturally relevant version. But in addition to this, we added live Black history classes for adults, right? So that's something that we actually launched officially on Juneteenth. That's coming up here in a couple of weeks. But right now we got a beta. Our beta version is open, so we're just slow rolling that out, but it is coming. I mention all of this because I want you to know at our core, we are a Black history company. This is who we are. This is what we are about. This is where the mission comes from. It's centered upon me growing up with my father, who was born in 1929. He's 94 years young. Right now, he's still alive and kicking, but he's a Black history buff, and he made me one as well. So this company is an ode and a love letter to my daddy, right? Because I know that it's his inspiration that really is driving me to push this mission of getting people to understand their history and their culture. And even bigger than that, the global contributions of the Black and African family to humanity, right? Not just to the African diaspora, but to humanity. We have to rewrite the narrative of who we are and who we have been on this planet. And what I've discovered is nobody's going to do this work for us. So we need to step forward and do that. And this is our effort in order to rewrite that narrative, not only in the eyes of the world, but particularly to the Black and African people in the diaspora, to remind us who we are, right? But bigger than that, we started the Sankofa Experiences, right? Our Black History Travel Experiences. But our inaugural trip kicked off in October of 2022. This is our group of 40 people, adults and children. We have people who brought their mothers, their spouses, and their children. So we got 3 generations on this trip. It's a beautiful experience. This is me and Dad here on the left. He decided he wanted to go to Egypt. I was like, hey man, I'll go to Egypt with you, but let me bring some friends with us, right? So I got with the good brother Jay Cameron, and we kicked this off in October of 2022. We're about a year and a half into this thing, and we are rolling. In fact, to the tune of, that should actually be 290 people that we've taken to the continent and beyond on 19 trips to 8 African countries. Ashley, we're gonna have to update the slides, right? Because we just got back from Senegal with this group. It was a beautiful experience. But this has been an unbelievable time to share the continent and the culture with the people and to start this idea of Sankofa, of reconnection, right? Of going back into our history. The word Sankofa is from the Twi language of Ghana. That means to go back and get it. So go back and get your history, go back and get your culture, and go back and get your achievements and bring those forward into the present with you and then into the future, right? We need to know where we have been so we know where we are going. So I love that concept of the Sankofa, and it's why you will see it often around at Urban Intellectuals. Yeah, okay. So that's what we're doing inside of this company, but there is more, right? Because the ultimate question comes down to there are a lot of people that you can travel with. There are a lot of experiences that you can have. So why would you choose us? What makes us different, right? And I always tell this Aisha story, but I want to hit this one real quick because I got a couple of other things that I want to point out to you. But Aisha, we met Aisha cruising down the Nile. If you come with us on our Egypt trip, there's a portion of the trip where we fly into Luxor and then we take a 3-day cruise down the Nile River towards Aswan, where the Nubians are. The Nubians in Egypt are the people that look like you and me, right? They got this melanated glow about themselves. But we met Ashley while we was in port. As you can see, she on the left, you can see she's on a separate boat. Ashley took a adventure into Egypt going down a similar path, but she traveled with some people that didn't look like her. She traveled with some people that didn't have a shared experience like her. And her mother were the only people of the African diaspora that was with them. And she talked about how it made such a difference in the trip, and she wished that she was traveling with us because y'all know how Black folks are when we get together, right? We just have this tendency to have a great time with one another, engage and laugh and fun, and there's just this shared experience that you have with other Black people. Not to mention the content is angled and geared towards us, right? So we're getting the real Kemetic and Nubian history and not the whitewashed version of Egypt that tells you that you're not in Africa, you're actually in the Middle East. It's something totally different. So that's one of the reasons. But two, I want to point to my dad. I mentioned this young vibrant 94-year-old. I was just with him last weekend and I asked him a couple of questions. So this first one, I asked him, what's your biggest memory of going to Africa, right? And I think like this is an important point. Okay, so my first question to you is, what's your most vivid memory of our travels to Africa, and what stands out most to you?
To Ghana.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, we've been to Ghana and we've been to Egypt.
Yeah,
and we've been to Morocco.
You said first trip to Ghana.
No,
to Africa.
Your most vivid memory.
Yeah, well, my most vivid memory was when I struck land there in Ghana. There was a feeling I had, you know, it's unexplainable. Never been to Ghana before, but in my mind, say, I'm home, home at last. You know, I mean, that's the feeling that you get. You know, it's an unforgettable feeling that place you ain't never been and you feel so comfortable. All of a sudden, there's a bit of freedom amongst you. You know.
Yeah.
That was not unforgettable. When we got to Africa and went to Ghana, and the first thing I felt was that freedom. You know, I ain't never experienced that before. And I think too, you know, what's the Family Feud guy's name?
Which
Family Feud? What's his name?
Oh, Steve Harvey.
He experienced the same thing. He said when he got to Ghana, he thought he said, just in Detroit, you know, the same feeling, the same walk, everything was so coherent, you know. He said, like, hey, I'm in Africa, you know, hey, I'm down in town Detroit or something.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that you get, though, honestly.
Because the people look familiar. Is that the thing?
People look familiar. Well, you know what I'm going to say about the people look familiar. When we went to Egypt, man, I saw an Inkster boy on the walls, man. I don't know how many centuries he'd been there, but he was from Inkster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the familiarity of what you saw, you know. Those were some unforgettable moments when Jay said, "Come here and look at this." You know, hey, I know you.
I just wanted Brother Jay to hear that part right there because Dad is always talking about the good brother. But then he talked a little bit about being African. I'm
just proud to be an African. I'm proud of the African descent. You know, I'm an American. I remember the times though. I would have said, "Hell, I ain't no African. Shit, I ain't never been on nothing about them people over there."
Mm.
And in high school and thing when you have American history, you know, African history, they talk about the African. Blacks refuse to acknowledge that they're part of that African continent. You know, I ain't no African. I'm American. All that crap. But now the time has come. I'm proud to be an African descent. You know.
Yeah.
Just like the Irish got their Irish descent. The Italians got their thing, the Germans got their, everybody got something. And we were denying ours, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no more. And the thing, what kills me though, the richest continent in the world is the poorest.
He about to get into it after that, but I just wanted to share that moment because I love this man. He's born in 1929, and he's really just talking about getting to the continent for the first time, right? His first time was in 2017. He was 87 years young. It was a beautiful experience. But
okay, so my first question to you is,
what's go to the next one? There we go. He did get an opportunity to go to the continent and meet with Brother Jay, right? Yeah, amazing video. Thank you, Sherrill. All right, yeah. I love sharing more. I'm gonna share more and more of his thoughts and feelings. I definitely got a lot of content from him. But he's just really trying to drive home this point of this feeling that you get when you enter into the continent. And now I'm going to end before I turn it over and get into all the meat and the details. And I'm sorry. And Sister Ashley, I dropped all of this at the last second, right? Because I did a speech earlier about our genealogy and about our path to figuring out who we are on the continent and our people that we come from, right? And my dad knows that we're Yoruba out of Nigeria through his mom's lineage. He knows that we Bamalike out of Cameroon through our paternal lineage as well. Through my mom's lineage, we're Mende, right? So we're Mende, so we've been to Sierra Leone. Just I had a lot of discussions today, and these were some of the clips that I was sharing. So I just wanted to bring them here, taking up a bit more time than I anticipated, but I think it's important. And this is my wife here, who's also Mende, by the way. But she's talking about her first experience in Ghana and really just going through a naming ceremony and the connection with the motherland. This is what I'm getting at while we're talking.
In America, my name is Crystal Taylor, and I was born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois, and currently live in the south suburbs of Chicago. But just now today, I have been given my Ghanaian name of Adwa Mansa. It's Adwa Mansa. Mansa. Adwa Mansa. Mansa. Adwa Mansa. Mansa. And today, when I saw what was going to happen on this trip, I knew that this would be the moment that would break me. Because I wanted to be here for so long. And at 46, I'm finally actualizing this dream. And I feel such a connection, such a warmth and welcome from our African family. And it means so much because in America we've been taught that we're not liked here, we're not wanted here. But there's been nothing but love and excitement to see us. And today to be given my name from the village chiefs, I can't explain how it feels. And I can't stop crying because it feels so good. Because I feel so loved here. It feels like home. And I'm just grateful. I'm really glad that I've had this experience. And I just couldn't ask for anything else.
You know, it's a wonderful experience that I think Sister Crystal, the wife, really drives home with her words. But it's not just Ghana, right? It's really the entire continent that feeling is exuded from, right? And all of this was on the Sankofa Experiences, curated by, our chief travel officer, good brother Jay. I'm gonna bring him up in just a second. But all of these experiences are thoughtful. You're gonna see the highlights. You're gonna go into Robbins Island. You're gonna learn about Nelson Mandela. You're gonna go to Tabletop Mountain. But you're also gonna see the wineries, right, that are in wine country down in South Africa. But you're gonna go to Black-owned establishments. You're gonna go see the food. You're gonna go into the village. You're gonna have these cultural experiences that tie you to the continent. And I think that it's just a very important piece of what we're doing. This is Sister Crystal, the wife, and I in the middle, myself, and then good brother Jay Cameron over here on the left. This was us in Egypt in February of 2023. Once we closed out that tour, we jumped on the plane and flew across the continent and landed in Ghana and on the same month, right? But that was the video that you saw Sister Crystal just talking about her experience. This is us atop the sky bar there, having that experience there in Ghana. It is a beautiful time and a beautiful experience, and one that we want to share with you, right? So with that, I turn it on. I want to bring in good brother Jay as we get to talking about South Africa and this particular experience. But I wanted to make sure that I just tried to show the entire experience, like everything that we're doing around here, and tying it all together with history and culture and experiences and love and opportunities to give up the negative narrative that Africa has been placed on in our minds. Hey, good brother Jay, how you doing today?
How you doing, Freddie? How are you?
I'm good, good brother. I'm fired up today. So I took up more time than I anticipated. But hopefully the people enjoyed it. But I want to transition into, South Africa. But first, where are you at? Y'all don't know this. I call this brother, well, he Mr. Africa, but he really Mr. African diaspora, right? Like, I think that's gonna be your new name, brother. The Mr. African diaspora. Where are you at currently?
I'm at the Copacabana. That's where I am right now. Yeah, you got the disco going.
Get the shoulders in it.
I'm in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. That's where I am right now. And it is, I tell you, traveling throughout the African diaspora is it's indescribable, because you get a chance to see the connections, and then you get a chance to see the things that the broader systems didn't want us to see, and the people. I mean, like today I was in a cooking class. Man, this food was so good. I said, man, I just shook my head, and that's a part of what I do. Is I go around and I look for places where we can have Sankofa experiences, and every place we go, we look for those connections. And so, like, we're talking about South Africa tonight, and because South Africa has that culinary experience, and we've been several times and had, taken people to have these experiences in South Africa. But what really did it for me, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, was listening to your father talk. Listening to him, it's like he's our elder, and he gets it. He could tell us about the time when his generation would deny being African. And like you said, everybody, the Irish claiming Ireland, and the British claiming England, and the French, French descent, and everybody wants to be everything but African. But now, like you said, no more, because we are seeing and understanding that if you took a people and dispersed them throughout the world, that means that there was something great within those people, that someone else saw value in them throughout the world. And I'm talking about into Asia, I'm talking about into South America, of course the Caribbean and Central America, and what we know as North America. You begin to understand you descend from greatness. And there has been this diabolical plan to do everything possible to keep us separated from the knowledge, which impacts the way we think. And when you impact the way someone thinks, you impact the way they behave. And so now we're starting to learn by way of urban intellectuals and these Sankofa experiences, what you do with the flashcards and all of the different educational resources that you provide. Mindsets are changing. When these mindsets change, now behaviors change, systems change, and things change for generations. And so now we're seeing the value and the wisdom of your father and everything that he's learning. And he told me in Egypt, he said, Jay, he said, you're never too old to learn. He said, I'm learning. He said, back then he was 93. So he said, I'm 93. He said, and I'm still learning. I have come here and I'm learning. And so those are the things that, and of course he had a great time being around everyone, but to your credit, making sure that you're honoring your father and making sure that he goes and he has these experiences, that is something that it really speaks to your character. It speaks to who you are, because there are a lot of our elders who are, you just kind of forget and just kind of they forget our elders and just say, oh well, just kind of put them off to the side and just say, well, you know what, I'm just waiting for them to pass away so we can get everything out of their will and do how folks do. But you honor your dad. He knows it, and every time we see you with him, you're taking him and you're making sure we talked about our trip we're gonna take him on. Now you got me roped in. Now I'm trying to make sure. I'm like, I got to tag along too, So that's how we do it, man. So it's a beautiful thing, and we invite everyone to catch the wave of this energy now, because this is the time that it's happening. We have a responsibility. We're Gen Xers, so we have a responsibility to honor our elders. There were certain things they didn't have access to. There were certain things that they didn't know. So now we have access. As a matter of fact, we're like information sandwich generation. Now we have a responsibility for our elders and our children and our peers. It's like we have this, we don't have an excuse because we are in this information age. But then we have the resources, we have the energy, and so when our time comes to be elders, that we want to look back and there'll be those who will say, you know what, I thank you for the work that you put in, and I thank you for the information that you gave me so that my life could improve, and so I didn't have to spend 40, 50 years trying to figure it out. I learned something about my history that empowered me, that showed me the direction of where my ancestors came from. It's not all about slavery. It's not all about torment and bondage and shame and abuse. There were powerful people that came out of the various movements in the United States and on the continent of Africa, and then you discover even in the African diaspora, all the things that I'm learning here in Brazil that I would never even think. Most people don't even realize all the black folks in Brazil. Brazil has the largest population of African descendant people outside of the continent of Africa, not the United States, but Brazil. And when it's fascinating. Then South Africa, you go there and you find out that they were going through the exact same things as far as civil rights, the whole movement, being shot in the streets, being falsely imprisoned, discrimination from the Dutch and the British in South Africa is what was happening in the United States at the same time. And it was also happening in Namibia and other parts, Kenya and other parts of Africa. But you start to see the similarities. And so then the walls of that, they don't like us over there. they don't want to see you. They don't like you. All of these other things. Then when people start talking that nonsense, you're like, have you been? Well, no, I haven't been. Well, why don't you go see for yourself? And so I was listening to what Crystal was saying and how the love that she felt when she was in Ghana. And then listening to what your father was saying and the things that he was learning. And then, of course, obviously seeing you in Senegal week before last and watching the big kid come out of Freddie. Yo. He's like, man, I'm walking with the Lions. Man, this food is great. Like we went back to summer camp.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, man. So it's a wonderful thing, man. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, no, it is, man. And I always try to give you your flowers. I ate up too much time talking. I didn't read your bio. But good people, I want you to know that the reason that we're able to do these things is because of this good brother here. And all of these trips that we go on, this brother goes on sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years ahead of our first trip to make sure that everything is done well, to make sure that everything runs right, to make sure that we got the right guides, the right historians, we're going to the right restaurants, we're going into the right cultural experiences. That's why he's in Brazil, right? He's warming up next year. This isn't his first time in Brazil. He's been in Brazil a few times over the last year or so, warming up a trip for 2025, right? So the forethought is there. When you get on this trip, it's literally because this brother has been putting in the legwork for 2 years ahead of time, making sure that, and he's very meticulous about the details. And if anybody in here has ever been on a trip with us, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We were just in Senegal and brother Kevin and his wife was there. And Kevin talked about how he's the planner. I take care of everything on the trip. I know what we're doing. I got the itinerary. I'm rounding people up. Even if we're with family, I'm getting them there. So he said that first day when y'all came out and then some things were going on, and he said I was on edge. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to jump in here. He's a former Marine, by the way, so keep that in mind. And then he said, but by day 2, he said, because things happen on the trip, right? Like, the timing might be a little bit off. But he said, I noticed you, Freddie, and Brother Jay was just sitting back, relaxed, and wasn't nobody on edge. So he said, I'm going to trust these brothers. But he said by day 2, he realized, man, this is a well-oiled machine, man. I can relax. He said by the end of day 2, he said, I was the problem. I'm out taking pictures. I'm late to get back to the spot and people are corralling me. But it was a beautiful experience to be able to let your guard down and just enjoy the experience, right? You don't have to worry about timing. You don't have to worry about what you're going to do next. Everything is laid out. It's well communicated ahead of time. We use WhatsApp in order to communicate, and we'll talk about all of that after you sign up and leading up to the trip. But everything is taken care of. All you have to do is relax and enjoy. And that's mainly because of Mr. African Diaspora. I gotta expand your name. You're no longer just Mr. Africa, good brother. You graduated. Congratulations.
I graduated. I'm trying to get my PhD in Travelocity. There you go.
Travelocity, right? But I'm gonna get out of the way, man, and let you dive into the details of this South African trip, so the people can get what they need. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Cameron.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Freddie Taylor, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm always excited about sharing with the Urban Intellectuals family, sharing about the Sankofa experiences because, as Freddie said, 290 people going to the continent of Africa, and there are even more who are getting ready to come to Brazil next year, and they've had these experiences. Some people have traveled with us 3 times, planning their 4th trip because one of the things that we do, one of the reasons why I'm in Brazil, I did the same thing in South Africa, spent time, and sat down and ate the foods, went to the restaurants, stayed in the hotels, visited the hotels, checked out the transportation, made sure that the guides were on point. And when the guides are on point, then you get good information. And that's something that we take the time to do because it's not just about a trip. It's about bridging the gap. And bridging the gap, the information gap, the experience gap, the culture gap, all of these things are thought about when we present these travel experiences, because you're trusting us. You want to go. People say, look, I want to have the experience. I want to see for myself. I just don't know who to go with. I don't know who I can trust. Is it going to be a situation where people are more focused on making money than having a great experience? These are all of the thought processes that we go through. I know I go through it, and I've been through it. I've lived through it, you know. And so having been there, done that, we want to make sure that we present an experience for you that's delivered with the best possible excellence we can do as we're learning and developing systems. In many ways, we're pioneers with this, even though people have been doing trips forever, but they haven't curated these experiences. These are unique experiences to the assignment that we've been given. And so we learn every day and we improve every day, and we are excited about the lives that we have been able to touch. And then from there, as the lives are being touched on each travel experience, then they go and touch the next person's life. And that's what we see happening. And guess what? Nobody's going to do this for us but us. If we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? So that's one of the things I wanted to share with you. Now, I'm going to dive into this, going to share some videos with you, give you the nuts and bolts of the itinerary, tell you about a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful special that you can sign up for, take advantage of tonight, and then we'll give you a chance to sign up and do what you do best and join us in South Africa. Now, most of us know this young man that I'm about to share with you. He is very popular. He's a popular comedian, talk show host, and he's also from South Africa. And he's just going to share with you just a few things about what all South Africa has to offer.
Hi, I'm Trevor Noah, and I'm South African. And because I'm South African, people from all over the world insist on asking me questions about South Africa. So, I decided to make an ad to answer some of those fascinating questions. Like, how cold and snowy is your Christmas? Well, Tracy, unfortunately, we can't afford snow. Nah, I'm just playing. We're in the Southern Hemisphere, which means when it's freezing in Connecticut, it's fantastic in Cape Town. Klaus sent me this one. Can you play golf in South Africa? Well, Klaus, we actually have some of the finest golf courses in the world, but judging by your 37 handicap, can you play golf? How many stars are your 5-star hotels? Brian wants to know, can I meet the lions? Well, I don't know if you want to meet them, but you can see them on safari. And get this, it's not just lions, Brian. We've got everything. There's elephants, there's rhinos, there's giraffes, there's buffaloes, there's leopards. Come on, man, expand your horizons. Ostriches. Is South Africa fun? Is it fun? Are you even watching this commercial, Michelle? Paragliding, bungee jumping, surfing, river rafting, shark cage diving, hot air balloons, hiking, cycling, wine tasting, whatever this guy's doing. Does that not look like fun to you, Michelle? Does that not look like fun? So, now that I've shown you South Africa, my only question is, when are you coming to experience it for yourself?
And welcome to South Africa. All right, everyone. Now, I want to share with you one of the reasons why we present South Africa, because not only the fun, it's a really upscale experience. You get the wine tasting, you get the culinary experience, but then you get the history. And the history of South Africa, sure, Nelson Mandela is a part of it, but there's so much more to the story. And when you go to the Old Fort Prison, you have an opportunity to learn about the story, which is very reminiscent of what you see in Elmina and Cape Coast in Ghana, and Gorée Island in Senegal, or Bunce Island in Sierra Leone, or Badagry in Nigeria. So you get a chance to have that encounter. You also, for those, there's an option where you go to the Apartheid Museum and learn. I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. It is something, it is an unforgettable experience, because the Apartheid Museum is, it really shows the chronology of what happened in South Africa, to include parts of Namibia as well, because Namibia and South Africa at one point were merged together before the artificial borders were created. But you begin to see the people in their fight, and you develop a respect for the South African, and I'm referring to the Black South African community now, so just to be clear, you begin to develop a respect for what they went through and how they were able to navigate it. And so when you see this, it's just like, wow, but then we have a lot of fun. So you get the fun, you have the history, you have the culture, the fashion, the food, the shopping, all of that. If the shoppers out there, y'all are going to love the ability to go and shop and do your thing. It is a really, really special encounter. As a matter of fact, let me just kind of take you inside of some of the faces that have joined us on this journey.
Everybody want to get y'all stuff. Everybody want to get
Oh yeah, and again, a part of the experience, you get to go on a full day safari. So all of this, then you go to Cape of Good Hope, you go to Cape Town, Table Mountain, Robben Island. It is a 5-sensory experience there in South Africa. Now let me also take you inside of another part of the experience.
Now, isn't it crazy that a couple of years ago, not years, isn't it crazy that a couple of decades ago, I couldn't do this? But I need you to watch me now. Come on.
Nelson Mandela stays. When they complete a certain section, they target the black spots in the city. Then the trucks will go, take all their belongings,
just so everybody has the opportunity to see, I mean, we were learning, but then we had some fine dining later that evening, and that's what you get. You get really a 5-star experience when you go with us to South Africa. And I know that, you know, sometimes the narratives that are put out there is that, well, you know, South Africa, everybody's sick, everybody's poor, everybody's dying, everybody's, you know, corrupt and everything bad that you can think of. And when you go to South Africa, you find out, wait a minute, everybody's not sick and dying and poor. And some of the nicest restaurants you'll ever encounter you'll find in South Africa. I mean, every time I go, I love to go to South Africa, not just because of that, but because of the different things that I learn along the way and the different experiences that I have. Some of the nicest spas, some of the nicest hotels. It's just a wonderful, well-rounded experience. And guess what? You have a chance to join us on this experience. And again, when you go, you'll be able to take these memories back, just like right here. Mr. Eugene, that's right, Mr. Eugene, he was there on the safari. He's always got that camera on. He was in Senegal with us. And he had he was in Senegal with us. And so by him going to Senegal, he went and did his thing with the camera once again. Here we are. You see more people right here. We're in Soweto. And these are memories and I want you to take them out of the picture and put yourself there. We went to informal settlement right there right outside of Soweto. More and more people you see here, Robben Island, and these encounters here, the wine tasting. There's Miss Maxine, she's doing her thing. Dr. Maxine Kane, having a great time right there in South Africa, and more. Here's some more folks who are just having a great time in South Africa. And again, this is what awaits you when you decide to go. There you go. More and more people are sharing and having these encounters, and we are leading the charge and making sure that it happens. So there's some questions that I know folks have along the way, and they wonder, are these trips that you want to be a part of? So here we go. Frequently asked questions. Are these trips adult friendly? Yes, they are. Is there a lot of physical movement? Yes, we do walk. And walking is a good thing sometimes, so, but it's not so much that you cannot handle it. And I say that, and I encourage everyone, especially for South Africa. South Africa is a pretty easy trip to manage physically, but there is physical movement. Do we offer payment plans? Yes, you do. Yes, we do. We'll get into that in a little bit. Is international airfare included in the price of the trip? No, it is not, but I'll give you some suggestions for flights, and then we also have an independent travel agent we can connect you with if you're looking to book your flight. What language do they speak in South Africa? They speak English. They also speak Afrikaans, and they also speak local indigenous languages, whether it's Zulu or Khoisan or Xhosa. There are different languages there, but you won't have any problem communicating because guess what? Everywhere we go, they speak English, and so that's nothing to worry about. Do we pair guests? No, we don't. But if you need someone to join you, hey, what you can do is let them know in the chat if the two of you decide that you want to connect and become roommates, then that's something you can do independently. So just, let someone know. Maybe that can work out. Can non-American citizens join the trip? Absolutely. Just check with the South African Embassy for any visa requirements. There are no visa requirements for those coming from the United States. But just check if you're coming from somewhere else, if there are any visa requirements. South Africa is a very, very lenient country for many places to be able to visit. So please, check into that and see what the requirements are. How much additional money will you need on the trip? We recommend a minimum between $300 to $500 because breakfast is included, lunch and dinner are not. So we just want you to be very mindful of that when you are planning your trip. Of course, most people go to get souvenirs. They like to shop. And if you're a shopper, you will definitely have the opportunity to do it. And another question is travel insurance automatically included? No, but we recommend that you get cancel anytime insurance as soon as you book to make sure that in the event that your plans change, then you can file a claim for a refund or anything like that. So making sure that you have that travel insurance, or if you get sick on the trip or anything along those lines, you have that travel insurance with medical in place, and we strongly suggest that you do it. So what's included in the tour? Ground transportation to and from the scheduled destinations, but it does not include international airfare. Double occupancy or single occupancy hotel upgrades available upon request, and additional fees will apply if it is available to you. The hotels that we usually stay at are the Voco Stay Hotel in Johannesburg and the Commodore or Pullman Hotel in Cape Town, and occasionally, just depending on the availability of the Voco Stay, we will look to stay at the Marriott at Melrose Arch. It just depends on the availability and how many people are going. The admission to all activities are covered as well, so you don't have to worry about getting picked up from the airport. You do not have to worry about getting picked up from the airport or taken back to the airport, and you don't have to worry about paying any fees for all scheduled activities on your itinerary. So no worries there. What's not included in the tour: your passport, your travel insurance with medical, your lunch and dinner, and any gratuities. There are no visa requirements again for United States citizens, and there are no vaccine requirements. So that's what makes South Africa a very easy place to be a part of. So why join us on a Sankofa Experience by Urban Intellectuals? You get to travel with other Black people. And guess what? Other ethnicities join as well, because they want to learn and they understand how they have been miseducated in these Western education systems. And so they want to learn. But for those who are looking for the Black experience, you definitely have the opportunity to travel with other Black people. You experience the motherland from an Afrocentric, non-whitewashed focus. We make sure that you get the Black history, the Black experience, the Afro experience, any part of the African diaspora, but in particular in South Africa, we make sure you get that. And you can travel knowing that our focus has been to create the safest experience possible with trusted operators, guides, and staff. And you get a chance to connect with your history and see what the world has to offer outside of the United States. Some of us grew up in the bubble thinking that the U.S. had everything, and then they discovered they got outside of the bubble, found out the U.S. does not have everything. Has a lot of things, but not everything. You get to experience culture like nothing you've experienced before. You get to feel like you came home, just like Freddie's daddy said, and you find new family and friends. And many of our previous guests have created bonds for life, and they have decided that they're going to travel multiple times because they understand that we do our very best to make sure that you're safe, you're protected, and you have a great experience. So here's what the itinerary looks like. It's a 10-day experience. You arrive in Johannesburg, and so you want to arrive around midday, right before check-in time at the hotel. So sometime between 12 and 4 p.m. you arrive, and Delta has a flight that has flown from Newark, New Jersey, directly into Johannesburg, and so that's it's about a 16-hour flight. I'll talk about the long flights in a little bit, how to navigate them, and how I used to be afraid to travel, but now I've been all over the world and have over 500,000 miles under my belt because of overcoming my fears. So you get to Johannesburg, and then you get ready for day 2. You get a chance to rest on day 2 and kind of explore. You're right there at the Voco Stay. There's a mall right next door. Lots of dining options right there next to the Voco Stay at Rosebank. And then on day 3, you get a chance to go to tour the Soweto Township and get to eat at one of the Black-owned restaurants there in Soweto and learn about the history and go to the towers and go to Nelson Mandela's not childhood home, but his home of his youth, I should say. Then the next day, on day 4, you get to go to Old Fort Prison, and I believe this is a must for anyone who is serious about Black history. Going to Old Fort Prison, and you also have the option, and some people have the option to go on day 2 to the Apartheid Museum, but then also for some, you may want to go to the Apartheid Museum after Old Fort Prison. So that is something that is an option for you. Then on day 5, you get the full day safari. You get a chance to do that. Then on day 6, catch a flight down to Cape Town, and then after getting to Cape Town, relax, unwind, go to dinner, and then in between this, just to let you know, in Johannesburg, you get some fine dining experiences. And then on day 7, you go to Table Mountain, you go to Robben Island, you have that experience. Again, more fine dining. And then on the next day, you go to the Cape of Good Hope, you see the penguins and get to learn even more history and see where the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean, where they come together. On day 9, you do the Winelands tour and you have the wine experience, and then you get ready to come on back. You catch a flight back to Johannesburg, and then later that evening is when you depart to head back to your home. And these are, again, just to kind of give you a glimpse of the days: Table Mountain, Old Fort Prison, Soweto Township, Cape of Good Hope. And so the dates that you have available now, some people, listen, you're ready to go this year, And when I say you're ready to go this year, you are looking, you're saying, you know what, November, I need to go. I don't need to put this off anymore. Let's go ahead and go to South Africa. And so these are the dates that are available for you coming up between 2024 and 2025. And you see them right there, November 21st through 30th, 2024, March 1st through 10th, 2025, September 12th through 21st, 2025, and November 3rd through 12th, 2025. And if you're interested, all you have to do is go to SankofaExperiences.com, and then you see travel South Africa. If you go to Sankofa Experiences, click on South Africa, they'll take you, you'll be able to find everything that you need to find. But guess what? All of this you can do if you want to secure your space. You can secure it, and I will give you the prices right here, for only $199 down, $199 down. But here are the prices, and this is what it's going to cost. For double occupancy per person, it's $51.74. That's double occupancy per person, $51.74. And then for single occupancy per person, it's $57.74. And this way, and again, just as a reminder, this does not include international airfare. And when you begin to, break this down, you can, obviously you have the payment plan, and all you need to do to secure your space is put down $199, which is deducted from that balance. But here's something that I believe you will really like. If you book before, that's right, before midnight Eastern Standard Time, tonight, May 30th, midnight Eastern Standard Time, we'll take $300 off of the cost of the trip. So now that brings your price down. So now you single occupancy, which used to be $57.74, is now $54.74 per person. And so you're able to do the math and deduct what your totals would be if you book before midnight tonight. You can do this by putting $199 down, and then from there the $300 will be taken off within 24 to 48 hours after you book. And so when you book, you won't see it come off immediately, but it will be credited to you once you within 24 to 48 hours. Now let's say you're not able to do it by midnight tonight. Well, if you do it by midnight tomorrow Eastern Standard Time, May 31st, then you will get $150 off per person off of the cost of the trip. And again, one of the things that I tell everyone is that, and I'll come back here on the screen, those are the prices again. One of the things that I've learned is that when it comes to having these experiences, you can travel anywhere in the world. Anybody can get on a plane and go to Egypt or South Africa or Brazil. And unfortunately, sometimes when we do it, trying to do it on the cheap. And we get on the plane and we're saying, all right, we want a top quality experience, but we want to do it for pennies. And it just doesn't work like that. I don't know if y'all remember the old Pacer back in the day, AMC Pacer, and everybody was excited about the Pacer, and they got that car. It ended up being a lemon, and it looked like a lemon. But folks were, trying to save a few dollars here and there, and then they ended up getting what they paid for. And that's what happens, in particular when it comes to travel. The reason why what we do is so special is because of what I'm doing right now. Is because taking the time to go ahead of anyone, before we bring anybody on a trip, we go ahead, we scout. There'll be people who will scout before I even go. And then I go and I sit down and I talk to folks and I eat the food and I do what it takes to make sure that the experience is the best possible experience that you can have, because it's much more than a trip. So again, anybody can hop on a plane and go, but they don't have these experiences because of the time and effort and energy that goes into the thought process to say, okay, who is our audience? We recognize we have vegan and vegetarians, and they're like, listen, we don't, I'll just give an example of Brazil. Brazil is a carnivore country. If fogo de chao, they'll eat meat like crazy. But guess what I'm doing here now? I'm finding places to make sure that vegans and vegetarians are able to have the same culinary experience. So that's what I did in South Africa. Went to South Africa, tasted the wine, tasted the food, went through all of the different places that I've shared with you here, so that by the time you touch down, you know somebody has been ahead of you. You know somebody has won. You're not just going someplace, oh, just send them there, just let them out, they'll be all right. It's like, no, let me sleep in these beds. Let me understand what the customer service is like and how the people are going to treat you. You know, because you work hard for your money. And because you work hard for your money, we want to make sure that you're treated right. You know, it was right there. It was sitting right there. I had to say it. But also, on top of that, we make sure that our team is taken care of. And the other thing I've seen when it comes to travel is that if a trip is too low, unless you have a whole huge volume of people or something like that, if the price of a trip is too low, chances are somebody's being exploited on the ground. And then we're ending up being no different than the people who we complain about. So we make sure that what we present is fair across the board. You have a great time. You make sure you're taken care of, and you don't have to worry about certain things along the way. And that's why we have people who've traveled with us 3 times. They don't even think about it. They're like, you know what? I know I'm going to be taken care of. I know somebody has already been there. As a matter of fact, I know Jay has already been there to see about what's going on. And that's why we have created this Urban Intellectuals Sankofa Experience family, because so many people have had this encounter. As a matter of fact, let me show you this clip right here, because I'm always reminded of Miss Ann and her experience, and we want you to have this experience too. All right, so wow. So you made it. So tell us your name, and if you wouldn't mind telling us your...
Okay, it's Elizabeth Ann Hagan Grigsby, but everyone calls me Ann. I'm 72 years old, blessed to be. It's a real opportunity, the opportunity of a lifetime, to be here on my first trip to Africa. My very first. I sincerely hope it will not be my last, because this experience with Urban Intellectuals has been phenomenal. It's an amazing opportunity, but I realized that for me to fully participate and be able to walk and do all of the walking and visit all of the pyramids and to visit the temples, I would have to be physically in better shape than I was. So I lost 32 pounds after I signed up. I started walking every day. My lab tests are phenomenal. My doctors at the lab actually wrote handwritten notes on it and said, "Girl, what are you doing? How do you do this? What's happening? It's better than it's ever been. We are so proud of you. Keep it up." It made me feel I'm not only competent to do this, but that I can do this. So I know that I can, and I have. I've walked all the way to the top of the pyramids and inside at Giza and the Great Pyramid, which was a challenge. You did have to walk uphill and bend over like this all part of the way. But it was worth it to say that I actually did that. You know, walking these distances is not an easy challenge, but if you prepare your body and prepare your mind and your spirit wants you to do it, don't miss out on this kind of opportunity for yourself. It will change your life in ways you never expected. It will make you realize what a magnificent heritage we have, and that we are the children of kings and queens.
Oh, Miss Ann, every time I hear that, it's inspiring, because so many of us would allow, she had some challenges. She signed up for the trip. She said, I'm going. In particular, she went with us on her first trip to Egypt. Second trip, she joined us in Ghana. And guess what? 72. And she signed up, had never been to the continent before. Now she's been twice, and she did that within a year, because she said, you know what, life is too short, and I'm not going to miss out on these experiences being afraid. She said, I'm not going to let 32 pounds hold me back. I'm not going to let my cane hold me back. And she made it to the top of the pyramid, because she made up in her mind to do something different. She said, I'm coming up off of this mental plantation. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to break free. And that's exactly what she did. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what she had naysayers too. People start saying things. You ever heard, you going to Africa? Why are you going to Africa? What's going on over there? They don't like us over there. You need to stay on over here. Stay on over here now. And guess what? Miss Ann said, I can't do that. I can't think like that. I can't operate like that. And no, that's the beautiful part about it. When we hear our elders say, I'm taking all this stuff. I'm taking these shackles off my feet so I can dance. That's what I'm talking about. Here is Miss Ann and how she answered those who wanted to kind of discourage you a little bit. All right. So what is it like? What are some of the things that your family and friends said when you were talking about traveling to Africa?
Some people were saying they were afraid to travel to Africa, and why did I want to do that? I was like, why wouldn't you want to do that? This is the motherland. This is where we came from. We didn't come to the U.S. voluntarily. We need to see what's our real home. You know, and I think people were worried too because of my age and that they felt I was traveling alone, that I wasn't going to Africa with a family member or a spouse or a friend. But the urban intellectual group that we're with, they have become my family and friends. They have helped me every step of the way. You know, I have a cane. They made sure that I was on level ground. They made sure that I didn't stumble. They made sure if I got tired, I had a place to sit. They watched out for me. If I was slower than everybody else, they still waited. They took care of me. These people have become my friends and family here in Africa. And for many of us, we are going to be neighbors and friends, I found out, back in the U.S. in a couple of years. I'm really excited about that because I'm going to be close to many of them and where they live now. So it's been an opportunity to make new friends from all over the United States. There's some people here from Canada, from all over the world, and it's the experience of a lifetime. You would not regret it if you took this opportunity for yourself. It's an investment in you. It's not an investment, you know, that you think of in terms of money. It's an investment in terms of knowledge and spirit and hope and love for what we are as a people.
I tell you, every time I hear Miss Ann speak, I am inspired because, you know, when someone overcomes that and has this, and everybody, it's by her being an elder, she has the ability to influence so many people in her own family, in her own sphere of influence. So who could you be influencing? Who could you impact in addition to yourself? I'm reminded of another one of our elders, Miss Harriet. She joined us in South Africa, and she'd been there a few times before. And so let's see what she has to say. Listen to her words. And the video may be a little choppy, but listen to her words and listen to what she has to say.
This trip has been amazing to me. This is my third trip here, and this is my first time having, for the lack of a better term, the Black experience. I mean, even where we sit here today at a Black winery, the other two times that I came in 2013 and 2016 for luxury trips, I could not convince the companies to even admit that there were Black wineries. So I was never able to do that. Where we stayed in Johannesburg, where we have stayed here in Cape Town, everything that we have done has been about us. We've been there, we've been represented on both sides, not just behind the counter, but also people visiting, people that are here on vacation. And this group that I'm with, I thought they used algorithms because we were so and are so together. I mean, it's like family, and it really is like they use some kind of formula to put this group together. The Magnificent 12. I just can't say enough about it. I've been to some great places in South Africa and certainly in Cape Town, and there's been nothing that came close to what we do here, sitting at a phenomenal winery with the Black ownership, fabulous chef and sommelier. I mean, just all of it.
All right, let's talk about your when you came before and why you've been to places that would not take you to the Black experience in South Africa.
Correct.
How has this differed for you overall?
This has not been, I mean, look at the time we spent in Soweto, which was amazing. I've gone on 2 very high-end safari tours that included Cape Town, as well as flying to the bush. And not one township, being in Soweto and seeing that and having dinner at a fabulous black-owned restaurant there, and actually seeing the growth that's happened since the time I was here in 2013 and managed to bribe someone to drive us through just to take a look at Soweto at that time. But this is they say a rainbow nation, and I'm in that rainbow. But this trip, I see that rainbow and I see myself. I see success.
What has this group meant to you? Tell me about your experience with this particular group.
With you, it's been phenomenal. It's been so phenomenal that you're going to see us again on other tours. But this group is just, it's meant everything. It's part of what's made this, 100. It's been the people that I've been living with for the past 2 weeks almost, and the restaurants that you've chosen, the level of fun that you've chosen, the Black Experiences here. I mean, we were on the stage dancing to Jerusalem last night, and that was just fabulous. That's us. That's us that made the song. That's us that made the dance. That's us. And I loved being a part of it.
What do you say to people who are afraid to come to Africa because of the stereotypes that they've heard and all of that? What words of encouragement would you offer them?
It's all lies. It's beyond stereo. It's just not true. It is not true. There was a time when I thought that Americans made more money than any other people in the world, workers, and then I went to London. So I say, come and experience yourself. I have not lost a dime on this tour. I have gained. It's amazing. It's affordable. It's amazing.
When you think about your family, one of the things that I think about when we meet and have these experiences with so many people from so many different parts of the world. We've had folks from Canada come, from Europe, from the UK come, from the Caribbean, and of course from the United States be a part of these travel experiences. You see the resounding response over and over again, and you can tell the joy that the people have when they come, and we want you to have that joy as well. So I know there are probably some questions that we have. Let me just share this with you again, just to remind everybody the dates, November to November. You see the dates right there on the screen. South Africa, join us. Here's the price: $51.74 double occupancy per person, $57.74 single occupancy per person, and with only $199 down. Secures your space so you don't have to pay everything up front. When you sign up, you'll be able to see your payment plan in advance before you click yes. You can look at it, you can see, and you can make a determination which trip makes the most sense for you. I say come on, join us as soon as you are able and ready. And for those who sign up before midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, May 30th, you'll get $300 off, which will be taken off between 24 to 48 hours after you book. If you can't do it tonight by midnight Eastern Standard Time, do it tomorrow, May 31st by midnight, meaning 11:59 p.m. That's what you want to do. Make sure you get that in, and you will take $150 off per person off of the cost of your trip. And again, going to South Africa. There we go. And don't forget the wine tasting, the safari, Table Mountain, Johannesburg, Cape Town, all of the history. You can be a part of it, and we look forward to having you be a part of this Sankofa experience in South Africa. Freddie, I know we have some questions, and so we're going to come back to you, and let's go ahead and answer any questions we have and get ready to get some folks on the road to South Africa.
Yeah. Well, great presentation, brother. Thank you for breaking it all down. Of course, I made some notes over here. We got a couple of questions. I saw them floating through. Hey, if you want to ask your questions directly, you can go ahead and raise your Zoom hand by clicking the three dots and then selecting raise hand. There we go. That was easier. Sometimes you have to click reactions but you can just click raise hand. See my little Zoom hand up here in the corner now. I did that, and then if you do that, we'll bring you on live to ask the question, or you can drop it in the comments to get it. A couple of things that I just wanted to mention. First of all, Miss Ann, wow, 72 years old. Let me tell you, when she say she climbed through them pyramids and it was a thing and you had to bend over, I'm 48. I think I was 47, 46. And that trip with her, I can't even remember. Like, wow, it's like I'm that old, right? October 2022. So I would have been 46. Yeah, 23, I turned 47. There you go. It was a struggle for me, right? Like that was a real experience. So the sister got a warrior spirit inside of her. It wasn't, all right, I'm being exaggerated, but it was work. It was work. I was definitely sweating and it took some work. And I remember the sister in the shaft taking her time, stepping to the side and resting. But it was a fight. So shout out to Miss Ann. I love that. I love let me go to Eugene and Maxine, right, who went to South Africa with us last year, had that experience, loved it so much. Not only did they come back on another trip with us this year, which was the Senegal trip, Senegal and the Gambia, they brought 9 people with them. Right? Like, think about that. Not only did they come back as a married couple, they brought family members, friends, neighbors. I mean, it blew my mind to meet 9 more individuals that came into our sphere, all because somebody had a fabulous trip one time with us, right? Like, you come that first time, I'm telling you, you're gonna have an experience like you've never seen before. And I wanted to use that to segue into how serious Brother Jay is about making sure these experiences are crafted for your enjoyment, your security, and to maximize your experience, right? Like, we're talking about, remember when we came on, I was like, oh, we started a little early. Y'all kind of peeked into another conversation. We're talking about going to Cuba in August, right?
That's right.
Is a trip with my dad. He's 94 years old. He's always wanted to go to Cuba. This is the thing. So I talked to Brother Jay, hey man, can you help facilitate this, right? He like, bet, I got it, jumps on it, gonna make it happen. So what y'all walked in on was me asking Jay, hey, what do you think about some other people coming with us? Because I started talking about it and folks like, man, I want to come. And Jay like, let's wait. Let's wait before we invite other people, because this is a beta version of the trip. We're going on it for the experience for 94. We call Dad by his age, right? This is an experience for 94 that we're just doing just for him. But before we ask other people to come and make an investment to come and have this experience, let's make sure it's right. Let's make sure we got the right people, the right foods, the right restaurants, the right service, the right guys, the right historians, the right vibe. And that's what kind of is rolled into the price, right? There's a lot of legwork that go into this. Like the brother said, it's like, we know this is not the cheapest trip. You could probably go find it cheaper. Hey, if you're shopping for price, you should probably go look for that. Right? But if you're shopping for a correctly curated experience of people who understand what you're looking for, this is the place. And I know this brother has done the groundwork, because he's been in and out of South Africa the last few years, setting up this trip, right? Which I think is a beautiful thing. And I promise once you get on a trip with us, you'll understand. This is, again, like he said, in a year and a half, this is why we got people who've already taken their 3rd trip with us, right? This is why we got couples who have brought 9 people on the next trip with us. This is why people who've taken their 3rd trip with us is already on and booked their 4th trip, right? Like, this is a thing that is happening, and it's just an experience of a lifetime. So I just wanted to make sure I got all that. I was there back in 2024. I want to go back. Sarah wants to go back to South Africa. It's a beautiful experience. I guess the other thing I wanted to say is, you get what you pay for, right? So you gotta remember that. And one thing that the people told me in Senegal, Jay, I don't know if I mentioned this to you. They talked about the price point, right? And they talked about it not being the most affordable. It's not the cheapest trip. They said, but it's worth it because the quality of people that show up and share this experience with you, they're like-minded, just like you. They love to invest in themselves. They want to have the right experience. This is not a party trip. This ain't beaches on the Mai Tai. You might be at a beach. You might even have a Mai Tai, right? But this isn't, that's not what it's about, right? We're going to go to the wineries. You're going to have that. Like you said, South Africa is a nice, I would say, bougie experience. But
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that's not the center of it. We're going to go see the history, the culture, the food, the music, the people, the experience. This is what it's all about. Brother Jay, you got anything to add to that? I know I just kind
of... I was just going to say that just like Miss Harriet said, she was like, well, I wonder if they ran an algorithm to put the group together. Because, and this is something I know all of the groups. And I know that if we pulled all the groups of all the trips together, all 290 people and put them together, they would have a common synergy. And I know that when people travel, you don't want to, you want to travel with like-minded people. You don't want to go someplace and find out that somebody's there. And y'all know how folks can be. Y'all know how this can go down. And you get the wrong folks in there with the wrong mindset, and next thing you know, they have ruined your trip. You paid your money for it, but they're bringing that energy. And so a lot of times what happens is what we're putting out there is what we attract. So those types of people are not, I don't want to go on that. I think they're serious about having a good time and protecting the integrity of the experience. So those people don't typically want to come on these trips. But those who understand the value of their time, the value of their dollars, the value of a quality experience, they will hear everything that's said because they understand what it takes in order to do something the right way. You have to prepare properly. You have to go and see about it because nobody's going to care about it the way you're going to care about it. So when they see that you're willing to do that, they're like, okay, you know what? This is how it's supposed to be done. There are a lot of lessons in how we curate this and a lot of lessons in how we teach people how to build and how to, this is how we change our communities. Because when someone takes the time to put the effort in on the front end, and then you see it when it comes back, and you see what Miss Harriet said. She said she had been on all of those other tours, been on luxury tours, but she came with us, and that's when it hit home. And when you hear someone say that, who is a experienced traveler, she's been all throughout Europe, been all over the place, and now, and here she is, and she's been with us to Ghana as well. She went to South Africa and she went to Ghana. So now we're just waiting for you to have this experience. So now you can go back and tell your family and friends, and we knock down the walls of misinformation and disinformation that have been passed down. Now we're changing narratives for generations, and you are a major part of it. We can't reach who you can reach, and the first person that is being reached is you, and then after that you reach one, teach one, and that's how it continues to go. So that's what I have to say, Freddie.
Yeah, we're gonna be the Harriet Tubman of this thing, right? Like
that's right.
Continent. But I know somebody is wondering, hey man, I hear what you're saying, this is great. Am I gonna get the history of Nelson Mandela? Am I going to get to go to Robben's Island? Am I going to be in the sail and all of that good stuff? And where are we at on all of that?
Absolutely. You're going to go to Robben Island. You're going to have a chance to go to the sail, to see his sail. You're going to learn, but not only going to learn about Nelson Mandela, you're going to learn about all of the other people. Or Tambo, there was Hector Peterson. There were other people who were very important in that time, and Hector Peterson was a child who was actually killed as a result of what was happening during the apartheid era. Was actually killed, and then there were others that were involved in this struggle, and they were fighting, and the students that were protesting, and they were saying no, enough is enough, all the way up until 1994. When you go 1994, I didn't say 64, I said 94. and you see what was happening in the streets of Johannesburg. You see what was going on. It is something riveting. If everyone who went in there looked at it and said, wait a minute, 1994, 94, 30 years ago, people getting killed in the streets for basic rights. And to see what the South African people have done, the black South African people have done in that time frame is nothing short of amazing. It's inspiring and really it's empowering, because you understand that we are people around the world. Whether you come from the Zulu tribe or the Khoisan or the Xhosa people or not, you understand that those who come from that continent of Africa have something in them to be resilient, to fight. You see it everywhere. You see it in Cuba, you see it in Brazil, you see it in the DR, you see it in Mexico, you see it all over. But in particular, when you go to South Africa and you encounter that history firsthand, so many people walk away with a whole new level of knowledge and inspiration, and they come back to the U.S. or wherever their home is, understanding that they descend from greatness, and that continent possesses a lot of greatness.
Yes, yeah, it really does. And I want to shift because we had a question about the wineries. Do we go to any of the black-owned wineries?
Absolutely. That's a black experience too. So, absolutely. It's a little tough there in South Africa sometimes, but as far as that, but we make sure Stellenbosch and the black wineries and the black-led wineries and some of the black restaurants in that area, you do, just like Miss Harriet said.
Yeah. I think that's important to highlight, right? Like, so we're not only trying to feed your mind about the black and the African cultural history, we're trying to line their pockets too, right? And like that's a part of the thing when you come into a country, who gets the money that you spend when you leave that place, right? So I think having an economic impact is also very important. And I know the power of our dollar, the power of our currency, because I won't just say that because you're going to change it into different money as we travel. But where you leave that money matters. So I love, again, this is why the brother goes ahead and finds the places, right? Trying to figure out who owns what, who is in control of what, and figure out our path as we meander through the country that we are engaging. Disappointed when I was twice there and not supported our people. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Sarah. I mean, but it's important. You have to be deliberate. But that's another good thing about the Sankofa Experiences, right? We're being deliberate about who's going to get this money. We were at a beautiful beachfront resort there in the Gambia. And when the people found out it was black owned, not only black owned, black African and Gambian owned, that was like it just takes the experience to the next level. So we're always trying to find those connections. Talk to us a little bit more about the safari. Is it dangerous? Like, I don't know, I get those questions when people ask me about going on a safari. Like, how protected am I? Are we open? Like, talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, I mean, you're going on a safari, so let me say that, and you are going to meet wild animals, but so just kind of put that into perspective. We don't want to make it seem like you're going to a zoo. Generally, animals will not bother you if you don't bother them. You're in a vehicle, and sometimes the vehicle is open, sometimes it's closed. It just depends on which type of vehicle they choose on that day. But I've been on 13 or 14 safaris, not had any problems. And I've been in open trucks. I've driven right up next to the sleeping lions, and I've done all, now that's me. But I've done that in Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, Ghana. Where else have I done a safari? I think those are the 4 places that I've done a safari and not had any problems. So it's, again, you are going out with wild animals, but the majority of the safaris are uneventful. They are minding their business, and as long as you don't get in the way of their business, they don't get in the way of you.
In the way of their business.
And as you saw, we walk with the lions. You know, they do their business. So you know.
Hey, yes,
So
yes, they do.
yes, they do. They get busy and stay busy. You know, so as long as you know,
I had,
as long as you,
to
there
show it.
you go.
I had to show
Yeah,
it.
you had to throw it up. Yeah, yeah. That was your moment. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. We might get a little crazy on these travel adventures, right? Going out and being in front of the lions and hanging out. This doesn't happen at the South African trip.
No, 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 no.
This isn't a regular occurrence. That was a once in a lifetime experience for me. I promise you that. But it was something that we did, right? So we don't have to worry about that. Um, Oh, I just want to remind you, right? $300 off per person if you sign up by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. SankofaExperiences.com/travel Africa. Ashley has dropped the link down there a couple of times. If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your Zoom hand and let us know. We're going was that 3 or 4 times? Did I miss that? Jake,
4 times.
Yeah, drop the dates up there one more time. We're going once again this year. So if you want to go in 2024, we're going in November. There's a March 2025 trip, and there's 2 later in the year in 2025. So if you want some time to make that, you have payment plans, but $300 off by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight per person that you put the $199 down for. $150 off midnight Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So that's going to be May the 31st, 2004 by midnight Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Yeah, can you bring up the dates for me, good brother? Because I keep.
Hey, you took us back 20 years there for a second.
Did I?
you took us back to 2004. I said, okay.
Man, 2024 is interesting because I was giving a presentation earlier today, and I was talking about something that was 2002. So that might be in my mind, and I had a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got me going. But yeah, November 2024, 20 years later, 21st through the 30th, March the 1st through the 10th, that's after Black History Month, 2025, September 2020, September 12th through September 2020, September 12th through the 21st. There we go, 2025, November 3rd through the 12th. 2025. So we got 4 trips, 4 dates lined up for you. You can sign up for either one while the spots last. And again, it's $51.74 double occupancy and $57.74 single occupancy. I can tell you this, when it comes to the pricing, it ain't going down. Right? And that's not a us decision. That is a world decision because the price of everything is going up. I know y'all noticed. I went to get to the gas station. I drove my wife's car today, and she takes regular 87 gas, and it was $4.25 a gallon. I almost passed out. Obviously, I haven't filled up a car in a while, but my car takes premium. I just know it's high. I don't even look anymore. But I had no idea that 87 was $4.25 a gallon. That drove me crazy. All right, that might just be me. I'm sorry. But anyway, $300 off. You sign up by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. $150 off. You sign up by midnight Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We got our dates on the screen. Again, $51.74 double occupancy, $57.74 for single occupancy. We are ready to take you on this experience, and we want to be your travel host and guides during this experience. Black History Travel Made Easy is our mantra, but it's also our promise. You're going to get history. You're going to have historians with you. You're going to have a local guide that's taking you throughout the restaurants, throughout the shopping opportunities. We got to lay that down. Jay, can you talk a little bit about maybe the shopping opportunities there in South Africa? I know our people, I didn't think this was a thing until we started going on these trips, man. But
Oh yeah.
travel to shop.
Oh yeah, and South Africa has a lot of fashion, and some of the nicest one shopping experiences, some of the nicest malls you'll ever encounter, and they do have Black African centered um, souvenirs and clothing and all of that. The Mall of Africa, that's one of the nicest malls I've ever been in. Santon City Mall, that's another mall, and then you have local opportunities to shop as well. So you will have a chance to get all, just you name it, you'll have a chance to get it, as far as from the shopping experience for those who want to go look for jewelry and diamonds and gold and tanzanite and all of that. On one of the days, you have the ability to go and shop in one of those establishments where you can find what South Africa is known for.
Yeah, how about oh man, I had a question. Shoot.
Well,
Yeah, go for it.
no. Oh, somebody who's coming on?
Oh no, that was me. That's me. I had a question, then I lost it that quick.
Oh, well, the one thing I tell everyone is when it comes to the dining and the shopping, you will find, even though with the similarities in South Africa, you will find a lot of differences. South Africa it's very similar to the United States, but it's also has this unique culture at the same time. So that's why, because for a long time I was like, I don't know if I want to go to South Africa because it's similar to the United States. But then when you get there, you see for yourself, and you say, "Wow, this is beautiful." The landscape. I mean, it is just something to see. Going to Table Mountain and having that encounter is something you'll never forget. Views you'll never forget.
Yeah. I know you spoke a little bit to it. Can you just reiterate for our vegans and our vegetarians?
Oh, for sure. For sure. There are a lot of pescatarians, vegans, vegetarians, and we always look for places so that you can eat comfortably and not just eat bread and not just eat salad. Because that's something that, they can eat salad. Well, all right. Well, what, we're not going to take somebody to a restaurant and just have, for the carnivores, we're not just going to take them to a vegan restaurant and say, well, okay, y'all can just eat vegetables. So we recognize that people have, especially more and more, there are more dietary preferences. And with these preferences, we try to accommodate them as much as possible. Obviously, as far as allergies are concerned, we do our very best with that. But as far as preferences, we recognize plant-based diets are becoming more popular, vegetarian diets are becoming more popular, and meatless diets are becoming more popular. So we look to do all we can to accommodate that and to have quality with it as well.
Well, one of the questions is always hotels. Where would I be sleeping?
All right, now let me the quiet as kept, y'all. I got a little bit of bougie in me too. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. And I'm not going to take my folks. I just as y'all, I'm not sleeping certain places, and I'm definitely not going to have somebody spend their money and then have them sleep in something. And the thing is, when we talk about Voco Stay Hotel, it is Miss Harry to tell you, and everyone tell you, one of the nicest hotels that you'll stay in. Very, very accommodating. Nice restaurants downstairs, wines for those who like cocktails. Just pull it up, Voco Stay, VOCO Hotel, and you'll be able to see inside of the rooms and take a look at what's going on. You can also take a look at the Commodore Hotel in Cape Town, the Pullman Hotel in Cape Town as well. And again, this is how I equate it. Johannesburg would remind you of Atlanta, and Cape Town would remind you of LA. If that's how we want to, draw a comparison. I do say leave America in America, but in this particular case, you don't have to. So you can take it with you. As a matter of fact, you're going to find yourself with some upgrades. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, I might want to stay here in South Africa.
I'm just glad Brother Jay admitted he got some bougie in him. Like, that's,
I do.
Jay got some bougie in him. And I know he won. Because my daddy got bougie in him too. Because he's 94 now, and he'll just tell you, man, hey, I'm too old to be staying anywhere. Like, I ain't going. right? Like he be like, nah, like let's just pay a little more and let's make sure that we stay where we need to stay, right? And I respect him. I'm 48 now, and like, yeah, we done worked too hard to just be staying anywhere.
Oh yeah, we're
Days,
not gonna.
the Motel 6 days are gone, man. We
Oh
ain't
yeah,
doing
look, Red Roof Inn and all that stuff,
yeah.
and Motel 8. No.
I don't care
Even the
where we
Howard
at on the
Johnson.
I don't care where we at on the planet. If we can't just spend a little more, we just don't we don't need to be there. We don't.
No. And in South Africa, this particular trip again is something that you will find. The accommodations. I always look for accommodations that, especially depending on, obviously where you are in the world, certain places have better accommodations than others. So we look to find the best that are available. And in particular, at the price point. Now we can take it up a notch. It can go up a notch. Now, if y'all want to go up a notch, we can go there. We can do that too. We can raise the price a couple $1,000s and create that experience.
Yeah, we can
And some people want. Oh yeah,
crazy if you want to now. Like, let us know. But
and Freddie, I've seen some trips $10,000 going to South Africa, same time frames and everything. And some people want that, and that's fine. So what we try to do is make it a fair price, right in the middle, where you can have a great experience and not miss out on anything and get all of it wrapped into one. And most people are like, wait a minute, what? You mean to tell me? They're amazed by the experience, and we learn from each encounter, and that's why we continue to improve every single time, because we want to be the best at what we do.
I gotta and Ashley, hold me to this. We need to get this on camera one day. But I think the best part of the experience for somebody like me or you or somebody in the company is talking to people, on the second day or the third day, and they say, I can't wait to see if y'all can top today. I just there's no way you can top this. I'm wondering where you gonna go from here. And then you talk to them the next day, they like, I don't know how y'all did it, but you did it. But I'm waiting on tomorrow now, because there's no way this experience can continue to go up. But it's you spoke to it a couple of info sessions ago, though, how the story is crafted, right? There's a ride that you go on. You go from highs of enjoyment and fun to, you getting that history and that background, and it brings you back down. Then it's just a well curated experience everywhere we've been. I just think Brother Jay is masterful at setting that stage, but each day it gets better, right? It really, really does in these trips. So we want you to come and join us, right? We want you to have these experiences. I want you to be on this side of the screen and understanding and coming with us on this particular trip. We're going into South Africa. We're going to dig into the history, both historical, like older history, and more current, right? Up until 30 years ago, right? There's a lot of significant history that has transpired there in South Africa, in Durban, in Soweto, and in the surrounding areas. This is a trip of a lifetime, and it's done very well. It's crafted and curated by the good brother, Mr. African Diaspora. We can't just call him Mr. Africa no more, as he joins us from Brazil. But come on and join us November 21st through the 30th, 2024, March the 1st through the 10th, 2025, September 12th through the 21st, 2025, November 3rd through the 12th, 2025. You have 4 dates to choose from while the spots last. $300 off if you join by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. $150 off if you join by midnight Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. A replay will go out in the morning. So you're going to get all of these details if you want to share with friends and family. You're looking for a roommate, all of those things. As long as we're over 6 months, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong here.
That's right.
As long as we're over 6 months out, you can add. Am I right? Okay. If you can add someone to your room, so you can sign up tonight for a single, lock in your $300, and say your girlfriend or your cousin or your spouse decides they want to go tomorrow, next week, or whatever. We can add them to your room, and you'll go into the double price. As long as we're 6 months out from the trip, there's no additional charges. All right, bam. Jewel has decided. She ain't already decided. She went ahead and signed up already. So welcome, Jewel.
Welcome, Jewel.
Welcome to South Africa. We're looking forward to your experiences. And don't hold back. When somebody got a camera on you asking you about your experiences, tell them how you feel. Tell them your experiences, because we want to share them genuinely with the audience. So welcome, sister, to South Africa. Who's joining Jewel, to the trip? We got space from you as is it Motel 6? Which one is We'll Leave the Light On for you?
We'll leave the light on for you. I think it's Motel 6.
I remember that. It was good marketing. I remember that. We'll leave the light on for you. But we'll leave the African light on for you if you're gonna come to us come with us to the continent. Like Sister Jewel has decided, right? I know this was her first trip. She mentioned that when I asked the question earlier. She put a 0. This will be her first time on the continent. So
welcome.
Ashley, listen, man. I'm spitballing, I'm firing things. I would love to do an interview, Sister Jewel, with you ahead of the trip, right? And kind of get your thoughts beforehand. Then we get a little bit during, and then maybe we do something afterwards. I think that'll be great. Not only content for us, it'll be great content for viewers like yourself that are interested. Like, what made her jump? What made her think about it? How did she feel about the trip afterwards, right? I'm confident, Sister Jewel, that you're gonna love the experience, right? So I'm confident in that. Actually, I know it, right? I know what the trip looks like. I know that the team delivers. So I'm just excited for you. So thank you for signing up. Thank you for trusting us, right?
Yes.
Where you're not spending a little bit of money and you're going halfway around the world with some people that you may have met on the internet, right? You might got a couple of our products and services or whatnot. That's what brought you here today. But that's a big step, and we don't take it lightly. And sister, we gonna take good care of you. Good care of you. We promise, right? In fact, we state our name and reputation on it, right? It's that serious. So I appreciate you for that. Brother Jay, you got anything else you want to say to the people? They don't got no questions for us.
Sure.
They just waiting to sign up. I think they waiting for me to shut up so they can go ahead and sign up for this experience and take their $300 off. So with that, I'll leave.
All right, everybody. This is my final word for you, that tomorrow is not promised. And waiting for the perfect time, when the perfect time may never come. I know that there's so many people who think that, we have time and get down the road. I'll get to it one day. When in reality, now is the time for it to happen. And that's what I can say. I can go back to 2018. I could have kept kicking it down the road. I'm going to finally go to Africa. And had I waited past 2019, then 2020 would have come, and that would have pushed me back even more. So what I encourage you to do is to not overthink it. If it's something you want to do, to live. Some of us are afraid to live. Some of us are afraid to step out there and do what we need to do. And when I growing up, I remember I would hear people say, I have faith the size of a mustard seed. I have faith. But the minute something would scare them, that faith would go out the window, and fear would be the thing that would rise to the top. What I say is this: if you're afraid, or if you're concerned, if you're all these different things, sometimes you got to push through it. I was afraid to get on the plane and fly for a long time, but if I never did it, I wouldn't have this part of my life to enjoy. The past 5-6 years, I would have missed out on 23 African countries, all of the other countries. In addition to that, all of the experiences, the breakthroughs, the mental breakthroughs, the mindset shifts, all of that came as a result of taking charge and taking control of the fear and the doubts and the hesitations and all the things that have been passed down to me through the generations. Many of my family members worried and worried and worried. That's all they would do, just worry, sit around scared, wouldn't even be scared to leave out of their house. And if I wasn't careful, I was going to adopt that same mentality. When I get on these planes now, I see Europeans flying all over the world with their children. I see Lebanese, Asians, Indians, everybody getting on the plane, flying, just living, children in business class, children having, learning and growing and having encounters with the world. But I, where I came from, everybody had their children held up, just kind of doing the same thing and playing basketball, playing football, doing the same. I played football myself, love the sport, but there was much more to life. And that's the bottom line. So we can have all of these experiences. It's not a matter of putting one down for the other. It's a matter of having all of it, because at the end of our lives, all we have is the sum total of our memories and experiences. So let's pile these experiences and chronicle them so we can share them with somebody else and then inspire them to live their lives to the fullest, live the best lives that they can live, and not look back with regrets, saying, I wish I shoulda, coulda, hope I woulda, but they can say, you know what, I did. And now they did, and you can do it too. And that's what we want you to do. So that's my final word, Freddie. I tell everybody, just like the old saying said back in the day, just do it. Take advantage of what's in front of you. Take advantage of the payment plan. Take advantage of the discount, and we'll see you in South Africa.
Yeah. First of all, that can't be your final word, because now we got a question. Second of all, I didn't know Brother Jay played football. I learned something new.
Yeah. I got an arm. I got an arm on me.
I'm a former football player myself. So all right, now we got to talk. We got to talk game here now.
We talk some game.
Sister Tanisha raised her hand. Sister, can you come on and ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say hello to everyone and thank you for sharing this experience, this information. It's been my dream to travel to the motherland. And my question is, so the goal is for double occupancy, that down payment, that's per person?
Yes.
That's expected? Okay. That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, I just want to clarify, but so it's per person. So double occupancy, you'll put down 2. But if tonight your second person, you're not, you're kind of like, I want them to go, but they're not here on the call with me.
Right.
I can't really speak for them. You can sign up tonight for single occupancy and then add them when they're ready. So you can sign up. What I'm saying is, without trying to say, what I'm saying is, you can sign up, get your $300 off.
Okay.
Signing up by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, and then add them as early as tonight or even tomorrow or whenever they decide to join to your group.
Got it.
All right. And then you can switch. So in other words, you sign up as a single occupant, and then once you get your double occupant, they sign up, and then you get switched to double occupancy. That's how that works. So you won't be stuck with being a single occupant if you get your double occupant.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Brother Jay rapped. I'll just echo what he's saying. We meet a lot of people. Like Sister Ann was in her 70s, right? He talked about that. My dad was in his 90s. We have 80-year-olds that go. We have late 60-year-olds that go. First of all, when you 60 and 70-year-olds, I want you to know, when my dad meets you, and like he's gonna say 72, he's gonna say, "Oh, young woman," right? Like, because it's all relative, right? He's 94. So he thinking 20, 22 years ago, he like, man, boy, I had this level of vitality to me and all of that. So one, the age is just a number, right? Like you're fretting over something in your mind. Somebody else wished they were your age. Number 2, if you're younger than that, or even if that's your age, if you don't go now and you end up going later, hopefully, because we don't know when. We know it's all going to expire, but we don't know when. So if you end up going later, the thing that I hear most, and Jay, I know you can echo this, is, man, I wish I would have went sooner. I wish I would have went when I was in my 60s. I wish I would have went when I was in my 50s. I wish I would have went when I was in my 40s, my 30s. I wish I would have went as teenagers, right? And I'm looking at somebody went in my 40s. Man, what was I thinking? in my 20s with no responsibilities and I wasn't gallivanting the continent. Like, what was I doing? Like, where was I at? Right. So I think that that's something that reverberates throughout the conversations that we have is everyone wishes they would have went sooner. They know they wanted to go, but you got to go to Paris, and you got to go to Rome and London and Dubai, and you got to do all of these things. But ultimately, when they come back to home and they come back to Africa, everybody says, "I wish I would have went sooner." So my wish for you is you don't wait. You take advantage of this opportunity. If it's not South Africa, you come somewhere on the continent with us in the African diaspora, and come home and see your people. Come retie these open wounds, right? That's with your people, your community. They want you, they need you, we need them. Africa has always been the jewel of the world. Let's not act like it isn't, and let's start to reconnect our families with the continent, right? It has all the resources. It has everything the world needs is already on the continent. This experience will be an experience for you, but it'll be an opening opportunity for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren that aren't even born yet, to know that it's safe to go to the motherland, all because you made an opportunity to go and explore it yourself. And you'll know once you get there, like my dad say, it feels like you coming home, right? So we want you to have that experience. $300 off sign up midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. $150 off midnight Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. 4 different dates available for you starting this year. The replay again is going to go out in the morning. For Sister Ashley, who's always on and in control. She is our travel coordinator. If you email us at support@sankofaexperiences.com, again, that's support@sankofaexperiences.com. Or if you're familiar with Urban Intellectuals, you can't remember that, support@urbanintellectuals.com. It all will filter its way to Sister Ashley, who is our travel coordinator, and she will definitely take care of you. And for my man, Brother Jay, Mr. African Diaspora, he graduated. He graduated tonight. The good brother is always on his job and making sure that these curated experiences are not only acceptable, but are exceptional. And I think he does a fabulous job. Brother Jay, hats off to you as always. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
But we are looking forward to hosting you in South Africa. Hopefully you made the decision tonight to join us and take advantage of the $300 off. If not, there's always tomorrow. Still get $150 off. Replays are coming. I'm Freddie Taylor with the Urban Intellectuals and the Sankofa Experience. For my man Jay Cameron and Sister Ashley, our travel coordinator, and the rest of the team, we appreciate y'all, and we're looking forward to seeing you in South Africa. So good night, everybody. We appreciate you for attending tonight. All right, that was good. Thank you, Brother Jay.
Thank you, Freddie.
Yes, sir. Thank you.